what to pack. Sorry. Oh. what to pack in your bag. Hiking boot reviews, which has nothing to do with almonds whatsoever, but would totally engage a target market that would buy almonds. And so that's how you build out a really full content calendar as well, right? So everybody here is probably having that challenge of like, what do I post? What do I post? How do I keep posting every day about, 3 tips to staging your living room? Like, how do I keep doing this? And so the trick is to break it out and get super niche on little topics, like 100 posts about hiking is super easy. Healthy snacks for moms, snack prepping, meal prepping, all that kind of stuff. You can get probably, I would say, 120 posts out of going deep on these 3 different target markets.
Sorry, so you start with that basic premise and the client does their own research on the back stuff, like as you're talking about snacks and boots and stuff. So we would do that ourselves, or you do that?
So what I'm doing today is giving everyone, you could DIY this whole thing, okay. But if you did want someone to help you with it, we would do all of this. Yeah. I'm gonna say got it because it's up on my screen. Here we go. So there's lots of different ways for real estate agents to actually niche. So the first one is the method in which you sell. I love this because I feel like every real estate agent has like their own unique kind of like DNA and skill set and things that they're best at. And when people say like, oh, you've branded 100 agents, like don't they all look the same? Aren't they all the same thing? I don't think so. And you'll see it after we go through these slides, how different people can be. But starting off with your method, think about in the process of selling the house, what is your talent? Like, where's your area of genius? Are you a person who likes cold calling? Lots of people don't, but if it's something that you're really good at, then you would make cold calling your genius and you would build out a strategy that really matches cold calling. Maybe you're really good at loving up your database, which is like calling people every day and staying engaged with them and, asking about their kids and being curious about the pool they're building in the backyard. Maybe it's gift giving, or you really like showing homes and running open houses, and maybe you do that better than anyone else. So there's a whole list here. I've seen people who are super tough negotiators and they get off on it, and that's what they love. They love the thrill of the hunt and negotiating that price. And so for them, if I looked at their social media, it might be like books like Never Split the Difference and quotes about negotiating and telling people how to get the best deal in their life, even if it's on the sale of their car and not their home. I've seen lots of realtors go hard on staging, and I think that works as well. So if you're into interior design and you really put a lot of your work and effort into staging, that's a place where you could stick out. I've also seen a lot of success if you're more of a nerdy type with the data analyst thing. And we have a client who we work with who every time a house sells in a specific neighborhood, he types out a letter with all the stats on the deal and what was good about it and what was bad about it, and he sends it out to all of his clients that live within a certain radius of that place, and it's got graphs and stuff. And anyone who loves numbers and loves information and that makes them feel safe, those clients just rush into him because they can see that he's so prepared and he has all those numbers together. Some people are still connected to print really well. They do a great job with print. Maybe you're a podcaster, an educator, maybe networking is the thing that you do the best, or you're an event planner. And I heard you talking about a bunch of people coming to movies.
15 years we've been doing a Cineplex movie. Yeah,
that's fantastic. There's a realtor out in BC, and like I think every 6 to 8 weeks he schedules an outing for all his clients, and they go treetop trekking and whale watching, and like they just do like incredible adventures, and he turns the adventure into content, which is one of the things that we need all the time, right? Is that interesting content. So he shows us setting up the event, going on the event, sharing everybody's photos afterwards, really get all the juice out of that event and the work that you put into it, turning it into content. So if you're a person who likes event planning and bringing people together, that's such a great reason for you to call your entire database and say, hey, do you guys want to come on this trip? So any one of these areas is a place where you can niche and become special and separate yourself from other realtors. Another area that you can separate yourself is your style. So even if I have two real estate agents who are both into staging, or they're both into negotiating, or they're both farming even the same neighborhood in Whitby, we can still make them feel different because one's going to be really playful and giggly, and she's going to be great for families who have young kids, and she's always got suckers in the car, and she's just like that person, right? Whereas somebody else might be the no BS, straight shooter. I'm going to tell you how to get the best deal, cut the fluff, here we go. So you can see already, just by picking one part of your process that you're a genius, that you really do well, and then multiplying it by your own personal style, your personality, like what fits and suits the way that you work with clients. Already, you're separating yourself from the herd, and you're starting to build an identity for yourself that makes you memorable and unique, and it super informs what you should be talking about on your social and how you should build out your plan, your marketing plan. For example, for your events, you probably have a system for sending out invitations and promoting it, and after I was going to say afterward, but that's a terrible word, sorry. But like, what happened afterwards? Sorry.
Yes, it's a great way because there's a million touches based on that.
Absolutely, and so that's where all your marketing is focused. So if you go to a workshop and a guy stands in front of you and says, oh, you need SEO, well, that doesn't match what you're doing at all.
Mm-hmm.
So niching down and picking a target group actually tells you how you should be marketing your business and where you should be spending money. So instead of just like buying all the things everywhere, you're targeted and you're staying focused on the way that you sell. I'm just going to check if there's any notes on here. I have on there aggressive. There's some people online who are aggressive. They swear, they say the F word, they're super like, no bullshit. And some people love that. That's what they want in their realtor. So when you're like that on social, you're going to attract people who are comfortable working with someone like that. And I never want that to turn off a person who is really soft and gentle. And like, we have clients who are very soft, peaceful people. They're not going to cold call, and they need to be on social media in that way because they're going to attract people who want someone that's going to be patient with them when they're looking at their 10th home, right? And so that's what they want. And so using your personality and doubling down on your personal style is an excellent way to, again, separate yourself and attract the clients that you actually want to work with. Has anyone seen that guy? Is his name Tom Kustra? Is that it?
Oh, yeah.
And he's doing those videos where he just trashes the city of Oshawa. Have you seen
Oh,
that?
that's the guy, he's done a few. He did
Yeah.
Oshawa, and I was actually like, how dare you? And then he did he trashed every other city
He did
individually, so I was
every
like,
other
okay,
city.
fine.
Like, and he's going hard with it. And when I first saw it, I was like, wow, that is very ballsy. He is gonna have 1 million followers, 100%, I can tell you right now. But that works for him. He's comfortable doing that. He's okay on camera, and he's gonna attract people who just like that dark, sardonic sense of humor, right? And so that's great for him, because it leaves everyone else here for you. And so, anyways, check it out if you want to see it, but it's crazy. Very bold tech. So another way to niche yourself and your business and create content is to think about your actual interests. Remember, we can't just post about real estate all the time because you're gonna miss people who are 3 years away from selling their house. Like, they're just not gonna follow you or engage with your content, which means you have a followers list where 95% of the people aren't engaging with you. Algorithms are gonna. The algorithms are gonna categorize your account as like a dead account, that you have very boring content, and they're not gonna share your posts out, you're not gonna ever get on the Explore feed, because you don't have that engagement yet.
We talk about which platform, you talk about Facebook or Instagram?
This works on all of them. For all of my clients right now, we're seeing the best growth engagement on Instagram. Like, people are really struggling on Facebook. It's very difficult to grow
Moving away
engagement on
from it
Facebook.
too.
Yeah, I'll come to you one sec, Dan.
Just because on Instagram, I've seen so many people have really high followings, but it's all real estate. And you get others that have a bit of mix, but the numbers aren't as good. Like, I thought the idea of Instagram was to keep it. This is like, we're doing more, like, what's your idea on that?
Sorry, is your question that they have too many followers, but it's
No,
all,
the Instagram, the ones that I've seen, a lot of realtors seem to be all real estate. They seem to have pretty good follow, but it's all real estate.
There's a business in there. On referral.
yeah,
Sorry, what's that?
There's a opportunity to get leads through referrals with that. So you get someone like a Tom Story in Toronto, who's the Toronto guy. And I'm taking a course with him right now, and he said he's getting like 10 to 20 leads every couple months just from realtors. So it's about putting out content to build your page and your viewership from a bunch of people, and business to come your way from all different sorts.
yeah, he's getting around that, like, not being
Yeah,
interested
yeah,
by trying to get
yeah.
something else by doing sheer volume, right? And
Yeah.
being like noticed for that.
Yeah.
You can't do that if you have 6 listings a year, you can't do that.
100%.
So
So what would you do in that case?
if you have 6 to 10 listings
Well,
a
you're
year,
not that, well, you know, the multi-million-dollar.
if you're not the multi-million, that's when I would pick some of these areas of interest and like build a personality and a profile of content around it. Absolutely. Yeah. I'll come to you, Dan.
Yeah, so if you have somebody else, a marketing company managing your social media, and you're also contributing to it, how are you able to tell what is working and whatnot, for lack of a better term? In other words, you said some of them expand the algorithms and some don't. Is there
Yeah.
some place you can go to determine what is working and what isn't, so you could, possibly lean more towards what works?
Yeah, absolutely. You can look at your insights and your engagement scores, and they'll be different from post to post. The only caution I have with that is there's a saying that what gets measured gets managed, right? So if you can see a number next to it, it's really easy to see it and identify it. Whereas on social media, you're almost creating a body of work. And so the risk of looking at one post is like, if your post maybe didn't get that much engagement, but that was the trigger post that like pushed on someone's need and made them buy and do the call, then that post is actually really valuable, but you couldn't post that same kind of post every day because then it wouldn't work, So you're making soup. So it's hard to say which ingredient in the soup is the one that has like the value in it. So that's the only caution I would say with that. But look at your insights, and that will tell you like which posts are the most popular, and that will help a lot.
I have insights on one page, but not on another. Because one's a business page and one's personal.
Yes,
But they
yeah.
post on both of them. So whatever that is posted to the marketing company on one page is posted on both.
Yeah,
I see that sometimes I get a better response on one page than the other, or vice versa.
yeah, that's a complex, like layered situation in that, so if you have a personal page and a business page, your personal page doesn't have insights. And a lot of realtors tell me that they get all of their followers and everyone talks to them and engages with them on their personal page. And my reply to that is usually that it's probably because you're posting all the interesting stuff on your personal page, and your business page is just listings. And so it's almost like confirming what I'm telling you here today, is that when you're a human person who relates to people, that's gonna attract people and they're gonna engage with you. So you need your business page to be interesting for it to thrive.
So the jokes I post on one page don't necessarily get posted on the other, so maybe I should just post them on both.
A little bit, I mean, as long as they're like,
Well,
career safe, then I would put them on there,
if you
yeah.
see them, I'd say 99.9% just are.
Yeah,
Sometimes there's always somebody out there that says, you're a realtor, you shouldn't post that. And,
Yeah.
our-
but that's a comment and an engagement.
Yeah.
That's 100%.
It's something that we're afraid of too.
Yeah.
We're always afraid because we don't want to offend people, but just breathing, you can offend somebody.
Yes.
I think we just have to.
But I'm curious, because we have to set up a business page, because you're not supposed to have it on your personal page. So I'm curious as to how that works, because that's originally why we had to, you have to have your personal and business. And I see a lot of realtors that don't have a business page, you're doing it all in the personal one.
They're doing it on their personal and they're scaling their business and great for them, they're growing, and then all of a sudden they're gonna have to take out ads, or they're gonna.
So somebody's monitoring that to do that.
Yeah, and they'll have to start from zero. Can you like imagine if you have 5,000 followers on your personal and they all love you, and then you can't run an ad, and then you make your business page and you have 2 followers? So like that's the challenge, right? It's like it's not scalable later, so you almost have to think ahead and like suffer in the meantime for having the business page now.
Well, that's why I like the Instagram business, and I can, at the same time, I can do the Facebook business, like the same 2 posts, so. it's-
Instagram's a lot more forgiving. You can change your name on Instagram, you can change your kind of account, like it's a little bit more flexible, but Facebook's.
And it posts at the same time, so which is great, so I can just post it once on Instagram, and it'll also feed into my business page.
I'm also, I'm just gonna write this down so I don't forget to talk about it. You mentioned controversial posts, so that is very difficult to bring yourself to do, but it's actually so good for you. It's like the pinnacle of niche marketing, because there's gonna be some people who love it and some people who hate it. And the internet's full of weird people, and so you never know like what they're gonna take issue with. I try to be so clean on my business page and just like never say anything that anyone can take issue with, just because like I'm nervous about that kind of exposure, as we all are. But every time that I have just not cared today, and I'm like, forget it, I'm just posting the thing, and it has worked incredibly. And I actually just did a reel trashing Gen Z and their work ethic in the office. I am getting ripped apart in the comments of this post, and I gotta tell you, I love it, because I think it's up over like 6,000 views and like going higher every day, because these Gen Zers are in there like, oh, you don't respect your employees. And all this stuff, and I'm just like, give me that engagement sauce, like
Yeah.
do it, you know?
It's like those change my mind posts.
Yeah.
It's like when somebody will post something and it's like, this is, they'll state a fact, a controversial fact, and then it says change my mind. You don't necessarily have to physically write change my mind, but that's almost
Yeah.
what the post is doing. It's like, give me the other side of the story. I want to start not an argument, I want to start a dialogue, a conversation here.
Absolutely, and it works so well because the algorithm doesn't see conflict, it doesn't see anything like that. It just sees engagement scores. It says this content is interesting, and so it pushes it out further. And that's why our guy who is trashing Oshawa, like, how will this man sell houses when he's telling everyone that the neighborhood is terrible? And it's because he's gonna get it on volume, because he's gonna get so many followers, and so many people are gonna see his posts because they're controversial and interesting. Absolutely. Coming here to interests. So definitely find another thing other than real estate to talk about. So whether it's interior design, health and wellness. I know a person who jogs, and he jogs around different neighborhoods, and then he shares the jogging video of like the trail, like those pictures. And that's what he does. He jogs different neighborhoods. And he tells you the experience and what the houses are like, and everyone follows that. And then he does his smoothie in the morning, and you know all the health stuff that I don't follow.
I just sucked in my stomach listening.
Yeah. Oh, we have to have another day. So any one of these can be that additional thing. I have music in here, which I know is something that's like important to Dan. So like talking about music venues and bands that play in the area, and like places to buy records in town. Like that is content that some other person who's into music or some, you know, audiophile, they're gonna follow that page and they're gonna stay engaged with it, which is the most important thing. Small business, is my personal area of passion, and I think that works for any realtor. If you're stuck, go on local and promote small business. Business owners love it, the community loves it, it makes you look like you know local. Every time you tag another company, so if you go out for coffee and you tag that company, the tag tells the algorithms that the content is for your followers, but also the followers of the coffee shop. And it also allows the coffee shop to reshare your content into their stories or onto their feeds. And so you get more reach. So collaboration, working in the community, all of this makes a huge impact on how you're seen and perceived by your audience. Fashion, outdoors and hiking. If you're a person who loves hiking, you want to sell homes to people who also love that. You can talk about trails, you can talk about the value of moving out of the city and where canoes are on sale. Like there's just so much content that you can dig into once you choose one of these areas. And I want to make sure I don't double up on a slide. Actually, no, I'm going to leave it because I think I already made a slide for it. Oh, the other example that I have down here is local expert. And I actually feel like this is something that not enough real estate agents do. And I think agents get sucked into thinking that there's so many realtors out there. And my audience has already heard all of these things from 10 other realtors. But that's your experience because you guys are in this industry. So the algorithms see you posting hashtag real estate. And so they send you more content like that. But the average person out in the world is following like 2 or 3 realtors, maybe. And probably 2 of them aren't posting and aren't doing a good job and aren't aggressively pushing their sales. So there's actually tons of room for you to talk about real estate issues. And local expert, talking about businesses that are coming to town. Like in Bowmanville, I think Toyota opened up a new plant with 300 jobs. That's a perfect thing to tell your audience. There's 300 new employees coming to town. They're doing construction in Bowmanville on King Street, and the sign says it's going to be like that for 2 years, and everyone was panicking. And then someone did a video and said, oh, they're making this road 4 lanes, so the construction's going to go this way. And I followed that, I shared that, I was super engaged with that content. So if you're going to be talking about local or farming neighborhood, talk about construction, talk about businesses that are coming to town and where employees are going, who's retiring.
Okay, I just want to confirm, we'll go back to the point and just confirm what you had said about finding what you're comfortable with. And my last deal literally was right after we started marketing with the music and all that. And then when I get a message from a local well-known musician with his own recording studio in the basement, right? And bang, right away, from me going to that part of the marketing, I have a musician call me and I said, who's in this wife's house. So that really does work, right? But I'm not tied to just music.
Yeah.
But we sprinkle that in and people see that in the music industry. And I've noticed since then, in my engagement within the music industry, really almost anyway, that they engage with me a lot more on a personal basis than they ever did.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Just-
I think people are also nervous about being sold to. Like nobody wants to trigger a realtor and calling them 3 times a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if they know when they call you, they're going to be talking about music and bands and other things, and it's not going to be like some high pressure call to sell their house. Like it opens up the lines of communication. You're going to find your clients are a lot more comfortable talking to you as well. So that I'm not saying that's why, but definitely it helps in all areas. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting when you have a commonality, because years ago I did an open house and the person came in with a K-way. Anybody that was a skier, he wore a K-way.
Oh, wow.
And this was just way after people wore them. And I looked at her, I said, oh, why do you have a K-way jacket on? Well, we ended up being a client, did 3 deals with them. So it was kind of neat, it was just a commonality, something, which you could do online as well, but it was just in person doing that.
Yeah, that's
Like
like
connection.
the root of all human interaction. You go to a party and everything's like super weird and you feel people out and you're trying to make conversation and nothing is hitting pay dirt. And then all of a sudden you say something about the dog park and they're like, I don't know that dog park, you know? And like boom, you're off and it's comfortable for the rest of the afternoon. So it's so necessary. Cooking, if you're super into food, you can talk about restaurants, you can talk about chef's kitchens, the best way to organize your pantry, do cooking videos, like, oh my God, there's so much juicy content.
That's what I go, yeah.
I still don't even work. How do you order? How to order food?
Yeah.
Rossie's going to work and she didn't know. She went out of town, someone was changing it.
So another way to niche, I think I wrote 3 ways to niche, and then I created like 4 or 5. So pardon me, that headline's not accurate, but another one is your ideal client. And so we all can have different ideal clients. Whether you are specializing in, for example, rural properties, and I will tell you that is a huge trend that we saw at Brand Ambition. I would say about 3 months ago, we were getting call after call from realtors who lived in the country, and they said, all these city realtors are trying to follow their clients out in my area, and they don't know anything about cisterns or dug wells or septic tanks. And so she's like, I want you to make me a brand that makes me look like I know everything about country living. I want a country realtor brand. And so I would say we did 4 or 5 of those, just like back to back of like out there rural brands. Some people want to talk to first-time home buyers, probably a less popular ideal client today than it was 4 years ago, but downsizers is very hot, real estate investors, maybe you're a person who specializes in downtown condos, farm properties, rentals, maybe you want to talk to flippers. Flippers are great clients, we love those. So giving all those like DIYs, pardon?
Hard to find a house to flip these days.
Yes, also true. New Canadians, I've seen some realtors, especially if you speak a second language, who just absolutely kill it with New Canadians. It's a fantastic market to get into as well. Small town living. These are just some ideas to get you thinking, but you can see where we're going with this. Looking back at those slides, if you pick an area of your process, your style, your area of interest, your ideal client, you can see how we can make almost any real estate agent look completely unique. They can have tons of unique content that they can share that separates them apart from their competitors. So this is really a valuable exercise to go through.
Whoever is chatting.
That's okay. By the way, if anyone in the chat, in the video has a question, drop it in the chat and I may ask if we could check it in a few minutes or something and I'll get to your question. I don't want you to feel unattended to. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys 2 examples from actual real estate agents, walk you through them just to kind of get the potential. Oh, so
That's why I
Text her.
I heard them just say something about Ross. What?
There's no meeting upstairs.
I did, yeah.
It's Donna. Donna, we can hear you.
I
Give us a second, guys. We're just shutting down a computer on.
think they got to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's done. Okay, we're back.
Perfect.
Nope.
Okay, so this is some content that we pulled for a marketing plan that we did for a brokerage in a small town. And they came to us and they said that they wanted to appeal to older sellers, since they're the ones who have listings and we need them to get out of that 3-bedroom house that they are living in all by themselves. And so they needed to build trust. And they needed the brokerage to feel like the hometown crowd. So we're starting to niche down and like really get into what's going to be relevant for this company or these real estate agents. So we wanted to build a sense of nostalgia. Older people love nostalgia, talking about the good old days. We wanted to promote the town so that they saw them as local, be very personal and family friendly. So we're really getting into like the emotions and pushing the emotional buttons of those lovely seniors and their kids. So we created content, you can see those top 3 slides of places to explore, where am I in the town? Because people who've lived there for 20 years are gonna recognize those spots right away and play the game in the comments. We created, to create nostalgia, memories are made here, and so we showed the rugby field and all the places where people probably had those great high school experiences of being the star quarterback or winning a spelling bee. We kind of came up with all that
Your
stuff.
husband, you
Yeah,
know.
I think
Yeah,
Tom-
yeah, being a husband, I'm reaching, but it's all there. This one here, small town fall memories, so county fair, talking about the county fair, and where I grew up, we rode in trucks, so we talked about, growing up in the field and running wild outside. And then down here, we created a bunch of content about homes, and these are yards that are tree house ready. We did a whole series on pond hockey and building hockey rinks in your backyard. And that we're bringing families to town. So that was the brokerage's message for the older people to feel like a young family was gonna move into their house, and so it made them feel good about listing it. And so you can see here with these ideas, by picking a niche, target market client that we're speaking to, we can create posts and content that move them emotionally and keep people followed and engaged. We also did a contest for this brokerage as well. It was just after COVID. And so we had them challenge people to build a fort in their house. Again, nostalgic childhood memories, right? And so they had people build the fort, share the picture, and tag the brokerage in the photo, and the winner won a family game night at Neb's. And as a bonus, I thought this would be so cool. If the realtors evaluated the homes, like this is a 3-chair, 2-pillow home with a snack bar. And so just like a really clever idea that you can get to if you know who you're talking to. So here is another example. This one, I stuck with seniors for both of these, just so I didn't negate too many options for you guys and be like, oh, I can't do that now, she just talked about it. So this one is senior care. The challenge is the realtor wanted to appeal to seniors who are downsizing out of their homes, and they wanted to speak to those aging homeowners, but also their children. So we did posts about their unique services. We wanted to show an understanding of those pain points and of course, speak to the children of those aging homeowners. So there's Q&A up there about like, should I remove the safety features that I put in the home before I sell it? Tips on moving into assisted living, 3 tips for downsizing for seniors. This is one of my favorite right here. So I don't know if you can see this post. It says, my dad was in his 80s and he had no idea how to pack up a house or what to do with my mother's belongings. When you read that, if anyone who's had any experience with that, it just gets you right in the heart. And so immediately that post goes up and you get people in the comments who are like, oh, that happened to me. It was so challenging, it was so difficult. And so that is a post that is gonna build relationships. It's gonna get engagement, and it's gonna identify you as like a unique person that they can work with and latch onto, and who's gonna understand them. This is a post about navigating dementia during the sale. That's a big one right there. That's happening more and more often right now. And this post actually brings up a really great point, which is that this real estate agent actually isn't an expert in dementia. So what should she do on this post? So we connected her with a psychotherapy clinic that offered to write the post and some blog posts for her for free because they want the exposure as well. And they're going to do an Instagram live to talk about dementia and older people and the impact that it has on the family and how to navigate and how to have those tough conversations. Talk about top quality content. So powerful. She also is sharing a business up here. This business scans photos. So if you have a senior person that's got piles and piles of their slides that they don't want to give away and can't part with, they scan everything, even medals, trophies, all that kind of stuff, so that You can have your entire collection on a disc, which actually makes it safer. So that's great. She created a free download, which I'll talk about in a second. And this post here was about inheriting your parents' home. So we partner up with a lawyer who's going to talk about what happens if your parents pass away unexpectedly and you inherit a house. How does that look? Again, very interesting content. Again, for this, she created a free download, which is like helping aging family members move. And so this has all kinds of vendors that can help you paint, organize, psychotherapy clinic, lawyers that can help with all that kind of stuff. The same probably bank of professionals that you guys have, but she made it for a specific audience. And now people want to download that because it's speaking to their problem. It's not just a realtor being like, I have a bunch of vendors, do you want my vendor list? It's a guide for helping to move aging family members.
Quick question,
Yeah.
was this a campaign?
Yeah.
Or is this the whole strategy she's going after seniors?
In this instance, we built out an entire strategy, I would say, like she probably had like 50 pieces of content, an ad campaign that went with it. We built the free download and then we aligned her with some guest speakers. So we kind of did a lot of the legwork and then passed off to her. She's doing the actual posting to save money. So she does all the posting, she connects with the professionals and sets up the lives and all that kind of stuff. But we did like the thinking part.
So she's using that, like I said, is that just like a 3-week campaign? Or she's gonna start now being the senior first? I don't want to touch you.
She's going long, she's going quite in depth with this. So this is like the identity that she's building for herself. I think she can do this for, like she could do this for the next 5 years, no problem.
Could it work as a standalone campaign?
I'm not exactly sure what you mean by standalone.
Meaning I
campaign.
wanna do this for, say, a month, and that's it, after that, I wanna target another audience. I don't want that to be my, like, the only one, for example, whatever the
Sure.
market is, could be like a
Yes.
2-week campaign, a 2-week campaign.
Yeah, actually, that's a great comment. Even the brokerage that we did, the small town brokerage, I said, like, you guys are still branding yourself, you want to be known. So run the small town brokerage thing strong for 9 months and then do something else. You're building recognition and then you're gonna add other tools to your tool chest. But if you do everything all at once, people are not getting to know you for anything. So I'm like, let's do one thing fantastically. And then when you have that smooth and it's running neat and things are good to go, that's when you add the second audience or the second sort of niche on there and you can start expanding that way. That's how I would do it.
On this one, was that this was her personal page
Well, this is on her business page,
or
yeah.
business? Okay, so would she have done that only, or is she mixing her own stuff in between, or is that, this is the only thing that's running for her?
No, that's actually a good question, thank you. So she would do some posts like we had on this last slide. So she'll do this post and then a picture of her at the coffee shop. And then she'll do the next post and then it'll be like her working in her office.
Okay,
Right?
so it doesn't have to be just that.
No, it's actually better if it's a mix because you still want to get to know her as a person,
Yeah, I
right?
don't, put that in and put yourself on the beach, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Flashing, I don't know if that works or.
It does, like, if you go to someone's Instagram account and you scroll and there's like an overall aesthetic there, again, remember we're making soup, so like, you're gonna go and see the branded posts with her natural pictures mixed in between, and it creates like a really good blend.
Okay, with that, what you said now, what, my first question was, when you go to Instagram and post, you see all these color coordinated pictures.
Yep.
And, house pictures. Yeah, after a while, it's a little boring, I'm not sure, but then you have the ones that, mixed in personal ones like Facebook.
Yeah.
So which one?
So it's kind of to your comfort level, you get out of it what you put in. I think if you have this like branded set of posts, you can go wild with your photos and overall still have a consistent look. So it actually gives people a little bit more freedom, I think. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, but like,
Or go to your stories, like put the nice aesthetic stuff on the grid so that it stays there. Right?
Exactly.
Your regular Instagram post and the stuff that's less formal or more kind of like at the moment, right? Like it's like the type of stuff that Instagram was made for, like the red kind of right here, right now type of stuff. You can put that in your stories or in your reels. That way your content on your grid stays looking nice, but you've got all this other content as well. Like
That's great to me, I have to get some more. I gotta do another course.
If I can make one more point about the genius of this as well, because she, like this says she has a podcast, but she doesn't right now. Right now, she just like interviewing people live and doing like a little video or having them guest host. But she's speaking to that audience of seniors and their kids. As she's building out this network of experts, those are potential clients too. The lawyer that's been speaking on her account about these senior issues, you think the second they get a client who doesn't have that exact problem, they're gonna say, oh, do I have the realtor for you? She specializes in this area. And so all those professionals that you connect with also become this client network. So it's like twofold, I think, in its benefits. Just another great reason to be collaborating with other people. Yeah.
Another question. Would your company then decide to build a second Instagram, we call it account?
Yeah.
Or something like that?
No, we built this right on hers. So you'll see a transition of like, just like her, like what she did herself, and you'll see our campaign start, and there's a bit of an improvement. And so then you see like her account, and like later on, if she adds new things or things change, you'll see a drift as well. But that's like evolution. That's the all businesses evolve and change. And if you go back through Brain Ambition's account far enough, like you're gonna see some stuff back there that I would not sign on for today, but that's life, right?
But Katie, doesn't it make sense to, like, it's such a strong message that it has been put together by you or by her. To me, it would make sense that if you want to all of a sudden change the demographic, it would somehow link into that. So you're not doing a complete 180.
Yeah.
It's, you know, kids of seniors or somebody who's helped a senior, or I don't know, just something that would strengthen that as well as give you a new.
I have to say, for this campaign in particular, this was built for this lady's style. Like if you met her, she is soft, she is patient. You know, those people who you look at them and you're like, oh, she can work with that elderly. Like she's just, everything about her is just so soothing and patient. So like, this isn't like a campaign she's running. This is her personality. This is a thing she's passionate about. Like it's gonna be easy for her to live this for the next 3 years. Who she is, and that's great marketing. That's great brand that really resonates with who you are as a person. Yeah.
And do we pick the timing of postings, or like is there choices, or how does it work?
The timing of the posting.
Yeah, like are you doing it daily, or can we say like once every 2 weeks or month? Like I don't know, because you've got all the
So
different.
depending on if you're talking about DIYing, like whatever your posting schedule is, like I would do 2 times a week your campaign, like your branded kind of post, and then 3 times a week just you or your listings or all those
So
other
we can
things.
set that up with you as to the time, you know, how often we want to
Yeah,
throw in the
exactly.
campaigns.
Yeah, in this particular instance, again, like she was on a budget, so
Yeah.
we built this out and passed it to her. So she has a folder with 100 like social posts in it, and she's posting it in her own time, on her own schedule, and in her own words, and that gives her a lot of flexibility. But like if you were a big client who had like tons of budget and you just didn't want to be bothered, then we would schedule the whole thing out and kind of like manage the execution.
Yeah, I didn't come here to sell brand ambition, but all the concerns everybody has here, I sat down with them and asked all those questions. They've all been answered, and everything that I was concerned about, I'm not comfortable with. They take good care of me. If you have any concerns, pick up the phone or send an email, and Katie always gets back to you. The people that she has working for her are absolutely fantastic. I'm probably the best decision I've made in real estate was to reconnect with the brand ambition.
Well, thank you, that's very kind of you.
I'll be expecting a check.
Yes. Dan gets a commission on all your work. Perfect. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so this is just kind of like a checklist I use if you're doing this on your own or DIYing it. These are kind of all the areas where you can bring your niche into. So again, think about the pain points for that client. if you talk about the pain points of someone buying and selling a house, you're like, oh, that they need to buy or sell a house, like that's their pain point, and that's not a real pain point. The pain point is that their father's 80 years old and doesn't know how to pack up that house himself. That's a real pain point. So that's what we want to get to, real pain points. You want to have a contest or a giveaway, do something that speaks to that audience, like what would be valuable to them, what backs up the other things that you're saying. If you're gonna partner with related businesses, so if you're a real estate agent right now, and you have no niche whatsoever, and you're like, I don't know who I would partner with, that's like a great red flag that you're probably not niche down, and so you don't know who's gonna be a good fit for you. Collaborations, product reviews. So again, this lady here can do all kinds of things on like putting an elevator into your house for older people, and she can do product reviews of that. And again, that's content that's really going to engage her followers. Newsletter topics, places to know, whether it's like parks to walk or resources or places to get food or coffee or services, how-tos and DIYs, industry secrets, big wins. Celebrating a big win, just using this example again, if you do get that house packed up and show people how you did it, and you see the dad and he's like, okay, I'm okay with this now, it was really hard to start, oh, people are gonna feel that win for you, you know, it's so much bigger than just saying like, we bought Pat and Susie a house. So this is way more powerful. And then talking about those specific challenges. So if you go through that sort of all those niche options and your style and what you're best at and then who you're going to be talking to and build out content from there and then use this to go deeper on the content and like brainstorm more stuff, that's a marketing plan. Like you guys are going to know exactly what to post and have just all these ideas and abilities for the next couple of months. One quick status check, does your content reference your audience? Every once in a while, I like to check that. And I've made that mistake too, where I just go down a rabbit hole of content and then I look at what I've been posting for the last 3 weeks and I'm like, oh, this is speaking to like people making soap in their bathtubs instead of like big corporate marketing managers. What have I been doing, you know? And so sometimes you have to realign. So every once in a while, it's a good idea to status check. Market updates, one of my favorite examples of this. Most realtors are doing a market update when those stats come out and they just post it and move on. And my advice would be, what does it mean for your ideal client? Does it mean that your sellers should hold? Does it mean that your buyers should wait? Should they look elsewhere? Is there a specific town that's better? Should they look for a townhouse instead of a detached home? Should they start with a smaller property and intend to move up in 2 to 3 years? So coding this information with your advice to your target audience makes your market update actually a piece of interesting content instead of just some numbers and arrows. So just like another example of how that regular real estate content can become so much more powerful when you niche down. And that's the presentation.
I just want to, also, I went to Katie and was branded and directed probably a century ago, a long time ago, when she first started working, and I still get comments on branding and, you know, who did we go to, and we haven't changed it. We need to kind of go in and sit down with you and sort of update it, but I mean, the stuff goes over decades, and that doesn't count. We shouldn't say.
Well,
It's good stuff.
it should match what you're doing.
Yeah.
So for example, if you're selling to older people, we use soft colors, make them feel safe, very comforting, that kind of thing. And if you're selling to young, flashy people, then we're gonna use loud colors and take more risks and put in trendier stuff. So it all matches together to create soup.
Well, I was excited when we met you at one of the Sutton, I think breakfast or whatever.
Yeah.
And I walked up and I said, yeah, where she sells, he sells, and over to your eyes went, oh,
Oh yeah,
I've got an idea.
so much.
I got, okay, we gotta do that.
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Just quickly, get back what we were talking about. I spoke with Steph at the beginning of the week, about some friends of mine are celebrating their 50th anniversary of the music industry. 8 times an award, when it's like 8 years in a row for best country band. So I just told her my thoughts, and I sent her one picture. And she posted that about 20 minutes, I'm just getting crazy hits about it.
Oh, that's great.
The Good Brothers, who I probably did 35 shows with them over the years as a promoter.
Steph probably has the best customer service of anyone I've ever hired.
Just, I'll send her a message saying, nothing urgent, when you got time, and then 3 minutes, she's back to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's on
let me get off the toilet. No.
She is, so she comes with her own baggage, like you do, but like her customer service is on point.
But Gen Zs do expect customer service.
They do, they get that, they absolutely get it,
Immediate
Yeah.
gratification.
yes, exactly,
Oh my God.
yes. And that beautiful, rich language of like, I care about your feelings
Yes,
on
yes,
this, like,
yes.
oh, they're so good at that
Yeah.
part.
They have good language.
Yes. Does anyone have any questions related to niche marketing, related to anything else? We should maybe check our chat and just see if there's anybody.
There were messages in there.
Thank you guys for sitting through like an hour of my back.
All right.
Who's still there?
Where's my view?
There we
Where's my
go.
view? Standard, side by side, gallery.
I have a
Okay,
question.
there's our gallery.
What is that audit thing that they have there? I know for audit.
Oh, yeah, you can sign up for an Instagram audit where we look at your Instagram and we give you a bunch of recommendations. Most of the recommendations are what I just covered in the presentation, but I'll do it for you again if you like.
Okay, and also, what's your opinion on the advertising through these medias?
100%. Like if you're trying to get more people in that top of sales funnel and you're not comfortable doing reels, then I would look at ads. Ads follow the exact same thing. If you're just boosting your listings, you're just talking to a little group of people who may or may not buy or may already
So
have.
what's the
realtor.
difference? I mean, what's the difference between boosting and something else?
They're the same. Boosting and ads, they're not the same, but boosting is really simple. It's made so that like someone with no experience can push the button and give Instagram money, right? So very simple. So they have limited reach, limited features, but like it's still good. And then the targeted ads is like intensive audience selection and outreach. So if you're promoting your listings, which you can do, and it's more likely that people will see it, so it's valuable, but it's also worth it to promote things like her free download on moving seniors, and then people come to her page and see all that content for seniors, it's stickier. So when you see her ad, you come to her profile and you stick there and you stay. Whereas if I just see your listing for a 3-bedroom and I look at it and I'm like, not today, and I move on, there isn't enough stick factor there and you don't grow your page, you don't grow your brand. So that's why I promote running ads sometimes for things that are not listings, and agents are like, well, we're not doing that. So I'm like, okay, but it's very valuable.
Would your company, like in my personal case, I got no idea who my clients is, but I seem to get all, right? But, and some of them I prefer and others, but would your company actually, if I want to do a campaign or some ads to actually hit hard?
Yeah.
Or some of the ideas you have, I think are fabulous. If I want to do something like that, like I've talked to you guys about brand and mission, doing the whole brand. I don't know where I'm heading, so I got no idea where that yet, 'cause I keep changing.
Yeah.
And I'm busy in the way it stands, but some of these ideas you have, I found incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so I want to target some of those.
So I always build a marketing plan for the specific person. So the challenge in your case is that you're always changing and you're talking to all different kinds of people. So I'm gonna build something for someone who's going through that, which means you're gonna need something that's really heavily promoting referrals. So you're gonna need good reasons to reach out to your clients all the time and talk to them about something that isn't real estate. So we'll pick something, and so if we work together really well, we could come up with a thing, like maybe it's not events, but it could be something like that you
Yeah.
do, and then you integrate that into your business. The caveat is, if I build you a stellar marketing plan and then you don't do the thing on the other side, which is like reaching out to the clients or following the plan, it
My
won't
idea
work.
is, like, some of your ideas are great, like, I get a lot of business, but it's my client business, I get, I work with my first one. But some of the seniors and some other areas that I like to work on aren't that cheerful. But it's but my Instagram post shows me the biking or in the concert or something.
Yeah.
But my clientele, I'm doing a lot of estate sales, separations, seniors. I get a lot of business, that's actually done well for me.
Yeah.
It just seems a little bit dark, like if I'm compared to my image.
We can make anything.
You know what I mean? It's like-
Yeah, that's good marketing. Like if they can sell like blood pressure medicine on CNN, I can sell.
But you know, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, you know that, you know, if someone's not doing well, call me, because I'll sell the house.
Yeah.
Even though that's a big clientele one.
Yeah. I would,
Market then.
this is just me coming up with something on the spot,
Yeah.
but I would say that like you take care of the process so they can take care of what they're going through.
Okay.
And that's what you do, you know? So whatever kind of crisis you're facing, call me and I'm gonna take care of it so that you have to do as little as possible.
Yeah.
And you can trust this process is gonna get taken care of. And then I would start making posts about that.
That's good. Yeah, that's why it's a great idea, we're thinking it's gonna look a little dark. So it's like,
Picture the Grim Reaper. Whatever.
Yeah.
I think though, Christian, I think you have built a brand over all the years you've been in business. And it's a strong brand. I think it's, you know.
I do.
Yeah, no, I get a lot of
Who you
business.
are, and everybody knows that you're, you know, a
You're
good
a
guy
leader.
and a caring guy and everything else, so I think it's all part of really your personality
And work it.
and, yeah, I think it would be.
That's what great, I do get a lot of seniors, it's a big chunk of my business.
Yeah.
I just.
If they feel, if
Well,
they feel
it'll
like
only
they're gonna
be-
be comfortable
It'll
working.
only be your
it's the
business
next guy.
for maybe 5 years and then it'll be.
No.
You'll be looking at a new group.
Yeah, but we get into that, I'd say, go into the legal.
There's a question.
Yeah, we have a question up there.
Is it worth
worth to do a target ad for listings since there is rules for housing?
Interesting.
We kind of just touched on that actually, because there are so many limitations around promoting listings now. And so you can boost your listings to get more likes and people following on it, but it might make more sense, like in the example that we had with the seniors free download. If she promotes the free download and then people come to the page and like see all that content about helping seniors, that's gonna be a better ad campaign for her than sharing her listings, absolutely. And it helps you get around the limitations of sharing your listing, because you can market a free download to any target audience. So that's a good little loophole to get around that. I hope that answers your question.
Yep, she's nodding. Yes, thank you. Thumbs up.
Katie, in your package or whatever, do you have different packages available for what you do, or is it a full, like this is all on your picture, this, the branding, the?
Yes, I thank you for asking that question, because like I have my own little insecurities, because we do it a la carte. So people come in and get just branding, and then that's what we give you, or they get just the marketing plan and they don't have a brand. So we do the best we can with what you do, but if you want like the full amazing thing, then it's best to get what we recommend, but I never pressure anyone into that, because I totally know that people have budgets and they have to piecemeal, and like, I'll be here in 2 years, and you'll be here in 2 years, so it's better we just meet again then. So we'll give you what you need now today.
Yeah, because we need new photos done and different things that go along with the whole thing, so we might as well do all that at one time, so.
Yeah, I like doing it at one time because it's the wow factor. It's the wow factor when we're making your graphics, get your photos and put them in. So like there's benefits to doing it that way, but real life is real life. If you have to do it piece by piece, it is what it is.
So here's
Yeah.
my question. If you update our stuff, can we still use our old pictures?
Yes, of course you can.
Once you see their new branding though, like once you see what they come up for, or what they come up with for you, you're gonna want new pictures. Not that your pictures are bad, I don't mean to suggest that, but I'm saying you're gonna want it to just like have one aesthetic.
I take the worst photo ever, and people say that. They'll see me after, and go, you don't look like this. Because I'm really loose. Anyways, the best photo I ever had taken was your branded business. And even my family goes, oh, that looks like you. So that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I just think that's a one-off. I not sure.
I know we have our pictures on our signs, and I mean, I've lost so much weight, and Mike's lost some too, and they're like, you don't even look like that, you two. So I have to do some new ones.
We did a brand for someone called the Anderson Co. And he was a very particular personality type, which is great. So we built a brand that matched that. But they had their photo shoot done, and that photo shoot, like every outfit matched the branding to a T. And so when it was done and we put the photos and the stuff, it is like one of the best looking brands I've ever seen. And it's just because they took the effort with the shoot to make it match the branding. So like when you put them together, it's gorgeous. Like, it's one of my favorites that we've ever done. But it's just like the benefit of doing it at the same time, or also what you put into it, you get out. Like if you just showed up in your favorite sweater, we'll do what we can, but that's what you get, you know? So it's what you put into it that makes a big difference.
Well, your photographer, just to stay on that, I'm always nervous and uptight, and that's why I always have these kind of weird faces, because I don't like it. So I'm like,
Pixelate.
is it better if I do this or I do that? And she caught our personalities, like at the beginning, we were really stiff, and then she just was talking away to us and making us laugh and being ourselves, and then started shooting. And I didn't even know the camera was going, like she was just kind of doing the, and they're us, like I mean, even my picture up there looks like me.
Yes,
It's me.
And you see your personality in that.
And that's never happened before, so I have to give you kudos, because still, like even family go, can we do a picture of you and Joe? But your business one, we don't want the other ones, but thank you.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
Thank you.
That's nice. Awesome. Yeah, well, thanks so much for having me, guys. And if anyone wants to go deeper on anything, feel free to reach out, we can chat about it, but it was a pleasure. This is one of the first places I ever did a workshop, so it's so fun to come
You've
back.
done good. Can you send me an email, ask for feedback, you know?
That's right.
Yes. Absolutely. Some cards with you? Did you bring cards? For the school online?
Okay, I did. Like bring cards. Oh my gosh, yeah.
I know, Mike always laughs because I bring them out everywhere to more things.
I'm gonna write the number on your hand.
There you go. Good idea.
That's
Tattoo.
Yeah.
Put a QR code on the back of your box.
Do we have anybody else
Tramp
up there? We're done.
This is my boyfriend's laptop, by the way. Mine had an accident, so I had to bring a spare. So this is not, I'm not straight out of Compton.
This is all gonna.
Who I am.
I know you're working with those youngins.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel that actually. There's a distance between us that wasn't there 5 years ago.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm always gonna think about it since you had yours done.
Yeah.
And now they're working with Mike, so it's like we gotta get something.
Bye, everyone.
See
Okay,
you.
we go.